New York Giants star receiver Plaxico Burress accidentally shot himself last weekend. Now the league, the Giants, and the law are firing back, costing Burress millions and possibly his career. Early Show national correspondent Jeff Glor reports.
Plaxico Burress was at Giants Stadium in New Jersey Tuesday, perhaps for the last time. By putting him on the non-football injury list and suspending him after he accidentally shot himself in the leg with an unlicensed gun inside a New York nightclub last Saturday, the Giants ended Burress's season and possibly his career.
He's in his own little world. It's a very self-important world, and it's just kind of the way I guess he's been all his life.
Burress has always been a strange personality, but up until this point, it only caused problems inside the organization. Now, a big city anti-gun mayor is involved, one who only last year posted thousands of signs warning people against using illegal guns.
I think it'd be an outrage if we didn't prosecute to the fullest extent of the law.
Under New York state law, if convicted, Burress would face a mandatory 3.5 years in prison.
He chose to do this in the wrong city at the wrong time, in a place where they take very seriously handgun possession violations.
But police aren't just investigating Burress. There's also the hospital, New York Presbyterian Cornell Medical Center, which never reported a gunshot, required by law, after Burress checked in under a false name.
It's a misdemeanor, it's a chargeable offense, and I think that the district attorney should certainly go after the management of this hospital.
And police are looking into Burress's teammate, Antonio Pierce, who left the club with Burress's gun. A messy case that is far from over. Jeff Glor, CBS News, New York.
We are joined by Peter Roby, athletics director for Northeastern University in Boston. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Harry.
Let's talk about this culture in the NFL. We heard from so many former players, current players, that a large number of players, actually currently carry guns on a regular basis. What is that about?
Well, that's about a generation of young people growing up in a society where we glamorize violence and handguns, and there's a social construct around what it means to be a man in our society. They get bombarded with those images from the time that they're young enough to appreciate the media that's out there, and so that's the norm. That's the expectation, and they try and emulate that.
So that's the norm. Has the NFL address this sufficiently? I was looking through some of the suggestions. The '96 ruling by the NFL said, you better watch out for this. There are local laws and regulations that govern this. It's not exactly like there's been some giant crackdown by the league, has there?
Well, I mean, there's been enough incidents, Harry, in all of professional sports for any athlete that's been paying attention to know that these things aren't acceptable. The other thing is that all the professional leagues now do an orientation with their rookies that are taken high in the draft to make sure that they understand what the role and responsibility is of wearing the shield in the NFL or in Major League Baseball. So, I do think that it's important to still educate young people about the risks associated with carrying handguns, or what might be a better alternative, like hiring a bodyguard who's trained to mitigate those situations and keep them out of harm's way.
Because one of the stories is that just several nights before, one of his teammates had actually been assaulted on his way home.
That's right. He got out of his car and someone had a gun at his head. So the threat is real, and I think people generally in the public need to know that there is a concern, a safety concern, but there are better ways for players to manage it, and I think that's part of professional sports and individual teams' responsibilities to let them know how best to do that.
Did the Giants do the right thing by suspending?
Oh, I think so. I mean, his actions led him to not be available to his team and has potentially threatened their ability to win another Super Bowl. But it's also about leadership, and you embed a culture in an organization based on how you deal with these types of things. And if they want to make sure that this thing doesn't happen again to any of their players, they need to send a strong message and make sure that the players know they're going to be held accountable.
Peter Roby, as always, we appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, Harry.
You
Great
bet.
being with you.
All right.